there, and everybody wants to rule the world, especially if you got a lot of oil on you. It's 8:41.
Advisory services offered through Second Half Financial Partners, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. The opinions voiced and information provided in this material are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which investments are appropriate for you, please consult with a financial advisor. Second Half Financial Partners, LLC does not provide tax or legal advice. Please consult your tax or legal advisor regarding your particular situation.
And all that means it's time to check in on your money and see what Wall Street and, as a side note, the world oil markets might be doing to you this morning. On the telephone, my friend Philip Statler from Statler Financial Services in downtown Sebring. Good morning, Philip. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Dave. Doing well. Glad to be back in the office today. Hey, just a quick shout out. Today is my wife's birthday. I want to wish her a happy birthday today. So it is, but you know what? It's really hard to believe, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
May Day is here. May Day is almost here.
Yep. My late wife's birthday is May Day.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Man.
Yep. So she would have been 77 this Friday. So happy birthday to Mrs. Statler. Many happy returns. Talking about the world oil markets, I couldn't resist coming out. If everybody wants to rule the world, earth-shaking stuff, and neither one of us are 100% sure what this is going to do, although the world oil markets are obviously not impressed. The United Arab Emirates this morning announced, big flash across all of the financial news pages, they're pulling out of OPEC as of May 1st. Now, they've generally been on really good terms with us, and if they were actually going to be cooperative in terms of increased production, in terms of reducing oil prices, that'd be good. But I'm looking at the world oil markets this morning, and they're going up almost visibly as I'm looking at it. I'm not 100% sure it's going to turn out to be the best of news. Do you?
Well, I'm not sure, Dave, because since that I'll just be honest, since that announcement came out, I'm looking at oil, and oil has dropped down below 100. Actually, it's down, it's down below 100 right now. So it keeps kind of fluctuating between 99.50 and $100.50 a barrel. So, it is coming off its highs from what I saw earlier this morning.
Well, that's good to hear. That's one of the advantages that you guys in the profession have over us consumers. I've got 20-minute delayed quotes, and it was climbing as I was talking about it. And that's 20 minutes late, and the announcement just came out about 25 minutes ago. So I'm glad there's a world reaction in favor of a little bit lower oil prices. Otherwise, the day yesterday was not bad. The Dow dropped another 63 points, but the Standard & Poor's and the NASDAQ both set new records again. The S&P was up by, 0.12%. The NASDAQ was up by 0.2%. Both new closing records, and the Russell 2000 chimed in. It was up by like 0.04%, but it was all green. So except for a few blue chips that are not exactly on the popularity list right now, I got to call it a good day on Wall Street yesterday, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it was. And unfortunately, right now, I'm looking at the flip side of that. And the Dow is up slightly as the future markets, and everything else is down.
And I suspect I got an idea somewhat where that's coming from. This week is going to be the Super Bowl of reporting week if you've invested in high tech. I think 5 of the Magnificent 7 are going to be reporting this week. Not today, but, tomorrow we get Microsoft, Amazon, the Google parent company Alphabet, and then Facebook's parent company Meta, and then the day after that, we end up getting Apple, SanDisk, and a bunch of other tech companies. Boy, if you're invested in a NASDAQ fund, you're going to be watching this week real carefully, aren't you?
You are. You're going to see those top tech funds reporting or stocks reporting, and it will definitely have an impact on the NASDAQ.
And I know that what we found so fascinating last earnings season, and it's going to be interesting to watch this year. One of my tip sheets says they aren't going to care about profit. They aren't going to be caring about revenue a tenth as much as the question, how much money are you guys wasting on capital expenditures again? Because the investors do not like the money these big companies are blowing on artificial intelligence, do they?
A lot of times they don't, Dave, because that's money that could be going into dividends and increasing the stock price.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the same speech I used to get from my CEO. I worked for a publicly traded company for 10 years before moving here. He hated the fact that he was, quote unquote, taking the devil's money and having to manage the company for quarterly returns or the stock price was going to tank. And that's basically what's happening to these guys. You can make a strong case that investing in AI, right, hey, you make your living out of tech, that's probably a smart investment, but quarter by quarter, the investors are not pleased. They've blown $630 billion on AI ambitions in the Magnificent Seven already. And out of that, about the only firm that's happy with that is NVIDIA, right?
Yeah, and that's true. They don't like the fact that they're spending so much on AI. Obviously, though, AI eventually is going to help the bottom line. So you have to make an investment in it in order for it to help the bottom line. The question is, how fast is that going to happen, and how much is it going to deliver to the bottom line?
That's that quarter by quarter versus long-term management process. And whoever heard of a tech CEO thinking long-term anyway? I thought they got paid based upon how much they lost.
Yeah, right.
Well, that was the old 1999, 2000 thing. You burned through $10 billion. Ooh, good, get a raise. It's changed a little. Hey, other tidbits. This might be one of the reasons that the Dow has been suffering a little. United has announced that merger talks with American have ended, and they're going to sell $1 billion plus in bonds to buy 32 new planes. I thought that merger was really exciting to the Dow 30.
Yeah, I'm sure it was, but let's face it, if Spirit and JetBlue and that whole thing was having issues, how much more issues would a United American have when it comes to the Department of Justice and getting that approved to happen? And I just didn't see that really coming out.
Yeah, you brought that juxtaposition up last week when we mentioned it. Your point was very well taken. If a couple of also-rans in the industry get a raised eyebrow at justice, what in the heck is number one and number three going to do when they start doing it, right?
Exactly. So now what do we got? We got the government talking about investing in Spirit and bringing it back as a government. Yeah, just, why didn't you let the merger happen? That would have saved. Yeah, don't get me started.
Oh, maybe they just plan on farming out a new Air Force One service. Next president gets to fly Spirit because President Trump is going to take his with him. Company reports, before we get too irreverent about the world in general. You had a tidbit out of one of the big high-tech companies that's not reporting this week, but is interesting. What's Oracle doing lately? They're kind of one of the dinosaurs in big tech that's been kind of remanufacturing themselves over the last few years.
So Oracle, it sounds like they own a lot of or are a big part of OpenAI. Well, there's people cited here in this article that AI recently missed its own target for new users and revenue. And so that's raising some concerns that the company may not be able to support its massive AI spending to continue to build it as fast as they are. And so that's hurting not only Oracle. Oracle is down almost 5.5% this morning, but it's also putting some pressure on NVIDIA. AMD are also feeling some of that pinch as well.
Boy, if that's the beginning of a trend, that might be the fastest maturation of a growth pattern I've ever seen. The rubber's starting to hit the road for AI already, huh?
Well, it definitely looks like they, who knows? Maybe they were a little aggressive in their numbers. I'm not sure about that, but obviously they missed their own numbers, and that's never a good thing.
I got you. Reporting season underway, though, and we got one of the great old smokestack industry reporting. How did GM do last quarter?
GM, battling back, they're doing well. They raised their guidance for 2026. That helps. But they beat on earnings per share by over $1 a share, came in at $3.70. And so that was good news. Now, one of the other things pointed out is they're expecting like a $500 million refund, right, from the tariff that was happening. So,
New line item in the budget. How much are we getting
uh,
back from getting overcharged by the government?
exactly. So now they were up as much as 5% earlier this morning. Just goes to show, just because you beat doesn't mean a whole lot. Even though your guidance may be good, they actually have flopped back down about 0.9% now.
All right. What else have we got this morning?
Hey, we got a good staple. Coca-Cola reported,
Hmm.
and they had a good quarter as well. I was trying to look at some details there. They beat by 5 cents a share, came in at 86 cents. They beat on revenue, and so that's got them trading up a little over 3.5% this morning.
Cool. My listing of companies due to report today doesn't say what time, so I'm flying blind. Anything else before the opening that
So
you
I got
today?
two more of interest to us. UPS reported, they've had some issues over this last year. They've pretty much lost, if not all, a lot of the Amazon business. That put some, impact on them. They did have an okay quarter. They beat by 5 cents a share, came in at $1.07. Revenue was slightly above expectations, but they're down about almost 5% this morning. They expected, to lose some shipping, and they have. So, yeah, they say they're in the process of, and they were able to save, I think, 500 million this last quarter. Their anticipation is by the year end to have cut like $3 billion in expenses. So that's a pretty big number to try to chomp away at.
I know they can live without Amazon, but it cannot be fun when you lose your biggest customer all inside of a year, can it?
No, it's tough. That definitely, you have to make some headway and make some changes for sure. The last one I'll leave you with is a local company, Nucor.
Hmm.
Nucor posted a better than expected earnings, 323 a share versus 282. Um, Revenue was $9.5 billion, well above expectations today. And they are up 1.4%.
I know some employees that'll be happy to hear that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely. Resetting the table for the morning. Yesterday was an on-balance update. The bluest of the blue chips on the Dow ended up losing a few points, but everybody else is up, and we had a couple of new records to start the morning out. Now, my delayed quotes are showing the change in the price of oil. 45 minutes before we open, what are we looking at?
Hey, it's a flip-flop of yesterday right now, Dave. The Dow is actually in the green about 1/4%. The S&P 500 is down a little over 0.5%. The NASDAQ 100 is getting clobbered this morning, down about 1.1, almost 1.2%. The Russell 2000 is down 0.6. On the other side, everything's pretty much red too, except for crude oil. Silver down almost 2.1%. Gold's down almost 1.8%. Crude oil up from yesterday's close because of more talks about the talks breaking down between the United States and Iran, up 3.4%, but right now below 100 at $99.66 a barrel.
Still dangerously close. Across the ponds, we have generally let me get here. Asia Pacific. There we go. On the Asian Rim, everything was generally down at the 6 a.m. close. Two mainland Chinese markets off by an average number, about 0.5%. Not catastrophic, but it was definitely down. About the same tail of the tape in Europe. We got a couple little ups, like the UK is pointing upward, but everybody else is off. Average European index is down by about 0.6% halfway through their trading day. Getting my retirement together to turn my dreams into plans takes a trained pair of eyes to help me figure out the path. How do I find you to get that path going for my retirement, sir?
David, give us a call at 863-382-0037. Love to spend 30 minutes on the phone with you, making sure that you are heading in the right direction for the retirement you always dreamed of. And then join us this weekend for the Statler Financial Radio Show, 6 a.m. and noon on Saturday, 10 a.m. Sunday morning on Highlands News Talk, 7:30 a.m., 95.3 FM.
And back here again tomorrow morning about the same time. I appreciate it. We'll see you then, sir.
All right, man. Have a great day.
Take care. It's 105.7 Light FM and Statler Financial Services. Philip Statler.
Folks, again, I want to thank you for joining us today. Hope your day is going well. I look forward to speaking to you again tomorrow. Take care. Bye now.